and you're just filling it out. It's gathering up into our drainage systems and washing into the rivers, and all this, it's all in delicate cycle and has a way of feeding back into the ecosystem. But in a larger scale, what the government can do is to try to reverse the rate at which our forest has been devastated. Because by the time we cut down these trees, by the time we drive this deforestation, it takes a long time for these trees to grow back. So it's good for us to reduce this thing and try to provide alternative livelihoods to these communities that depend on these trees for survival. And we also need to tell people about sustainable harvesting. We're not saying people should not use these things completely, but we use it in such a way that the generation tomorrow can benefit from it. Sustainability is just about, in a layman's term, chop today, chop tomorrow.
No, but I just want you to emphasize more on what the average Nigerian can do. We know what you're talking, what the government, you're talking about what the authorities should be doing, investing more in the deforestation.
They're investing more in preventing deforestation.
Preventing deforestation, thank you very much. So what can the Cynthia, the regular Nigerian do? What more? I know you talked about littering, about, all the careless behaviors.
Yeah.
Well, is there any other thing that we can do?
Yes. Sometimes we are cruel to animals. For instance, in your backyard, you may find, let me give an example of a lizard.
Okay.
Because it's an attitude towards animals. By the time you have a good attitude toward one species, you'll be able to extend that to other species. You have a lizard in your backyard. The lizard has done nothing to you. You don't need to go around killing it. Because that may be just that one remaining in the wild. That's just an example. So by the time we develop a good attitude towards these very innocent animals, it vibrates to other animals as well. So that's just an example of what an average person can do. And I mentioned lizard because at least we all live in neighborhoods where we find lizards moving around. So by the time we have that, and we love that nature that we have in our environment, then that will drive us to even protected areas where we can even be fascinated more with nature.
Oh, Ms. Dr. Onoja, thank you very much. I've learned so much from you in these few minutes. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, pleasure.
Dr. Onoja is the Technical Director of Nigerian Conservation Foundation, speaking to us about how to preserve what's left of our endangered species. And we're going to wrap things up in the world's newest country. Despite the tension in South Sudan, there's reason to do some celebrating. That's because the International Olympic Committee has approved the inclusion of the world's newest country into the Olympic family.
World's newest country, South Sudan, has become the 206th member of the Olympic family after the International Olympic Committee approved its inclusion despite continued fighting. The unanimous recognition of the country after the induction, Wilson Deng Kurot, President of South Sudan's National Olympic Committee, and Secretary General Tongcho Malek Duran joined a news conference to speak about the move.
It's a pride to my country to be accepted in this wonderful organization. The other one is that being a member of the International Olympic Committee will allow us to send a team to the next Olympics, which is going to be in Rio de Janeiro in 2016. We are going to attract those young children who are in the armed struggle, say that we come and arm them with sports instead of being armed with guns.
In 2012, South Sudan's marathon runner, Guo Marial, competed at the London Olympic Games, but did so under the Olympic flag. He had refused to run for Sudan, and South Sudan was not yet an IOC member. South Sudan will send a team to the 2016 Olympics and to the Athletics World Championships in Beijing. Via an internet chat, Mariel welcomed the inclusion of South Sudan.
I was crying when the announcement came, but it's a great feeling. It's a relief, and now I know what I will be working for. I know now I'm going to be going to the to the Olympic. And my athletes, the South Sudanese athletes, also they know they will be going to the World Championship for South Sudan. So it's great it's great motivation, and it boosts our energy to focus on training.
Conditions in South Sudan are particularly difficult for athletes as well as the general population.
And on that note, here is our question of the day. We're asking, based on what you just heard Dr. Onoja tell us about preserving what's left of Nigeria's endangered species. We're asking you, how can we preserve our endangered species in Nigeria? Feel free to reach out to us either via email or Twitter. The address and handle are right there on your screen. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for watching Network Africa on Channels Television. I'm Cynthia Are.